In this video, we're learning how to graph quadratics in standard form. And just to remind you guys what standard form is, I'll write it at the top of the screen. So standard form for a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. So if we look at example 1, our equation is in standard form. So we have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 6. So what we want to start by doing is finding the vertex. So I'm going to write step 1 is find vertex. And remember, to find the vertex when our quadratic is in standard form, we have to use this equation x equals negative b over 2a. And this is going to give us the x coordinate of the vertex. So in our initial quadratic, our a value is 1 because it's the number in front of the x squared. So if there's nothing in front of x squared, your a value is 1. And our b value is negative 4 because it's the number in front of the x. So we're going to plug that into x equals negative b over 2a. So we're going to have x equals negative 4 over 2 times our a value of 1. And we're just going to simplify this. So negative 4 is positive 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. And 4 over 2 is 2. So we get 2 as the x coordinate of our vertex. And now to find the y coordinate of the vertex, we're going to plug that back into our equation. So we're going to plug in 2 for x. So we're going to have y equals, instead of x squared, we're going to have 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 6. And now we are just going to simplify and evaluate this for y. So 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 2 is 8 plus 6. And we will keep going. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4. We still have this plus 6. And negative 4 plus 6 is 2. So we get a vertex of 2, 2. So what I'm going to do first is just plot that vertex on our grid. So our vertex is 2, 2. And remember that the axis of symmetry runs through the vertex. So I'm going to draw a dotted line right here for our axis of symmetry. And it's going to help us when finding some points. So now what we need to do is find some points. And I'm actually just going to erase everything under find the vertex. And I will just rewrite our vertex underneath it so that we have some more space. So we knew that our vertex comes out as 2, 2. And then for step 2, we are going to find 2 points. So to find 2 points, we're just going to pick any 2 x values. I typically pick x values right around the axis of symmetry. So I'm going to say x equals 1. So I'm going to plug in x equals 1 into my original equation and solve for y. So we're going to have y is equal to 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 6. And we're going to simplify this. So y is equal to 1 squared is 1 minus 4 times 1 is 4 plus 6. And 1 minus 4 is negative 3, plus 6 is 3. So we get the point 1, 3. So we're going to go 1, 3, and I'll just write this point so you guys know it's the point 1, 3. And now what we can do is just reflect that across the axis of symmetry. So we know that the point 3, 3 is also going to be on our graph. And now we're going to find one more point. So I'm going to plug in 0 because it's easy to plug in and it's pretty close to the axis of symmetry, so it won't be too high on my graph. So I'm going to replace x in my original equation with 0. So I have 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 6. 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0, and we have plus 6. And 0 minus 0 plus 6 is just 6. So we get the point 0, 6. So we'll put that up here. And we can mirror that across the axis of symmetry to get the point 4, 6 as well. And then we are just going to draw our parabola through. And you just want to mentally check that your parabola is facing the correct way. Because our a value is positive, our parabola should be facing up. So we at least know we're good for that part. So that is how you graph the equation y equals x squared minus 4x plus 6. Let's go through one more example. So for this last example, I encourage you guys to pause the video and try it on your own, and then you can watch me work through it to make sure you've solved it correctly. So let's start by finding our vertex. So step 1, we're going to write find vertex. And remember, we have to use this equation, x equals negative b over 2a, to find the x-coordinate of our vertex. So in this equation, a is equal to negative 3 and b is equal to 6. So now we're going to plug that in. So we're going to have x is equal to negative 6 over 2 times negative 3. And we're just going to simplify this. So we have negative 6 on the top, and 2 times negative 3 gives us negative 6 on the bottom. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 gives us 1 for the x-coordinate of our vertex. And now to find the y-coordinate, we're going to plug that back into our original quadratic for x and solve for y. So we're going to have y equals negative 3 times our x-coordinate of 1 squared plus 6 times 1 plus 2. And we're going to simplify this. So we have negative 3. 1 squared is just 1. So we have negative 3 times 1 plus 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2. And now we're going to multiply negative 3 times 1 to get negative 3. I'm going to combine positive 6 and positive 2 together to get a positive 8. So we have negative 3 plus 8, which gives us positive 5. So we get that our vertex is the point 1, 5. Now I'm going to go ahead and plot that on our graph. So we have 1, 5, and I'm going to draw our axis of symmetry as a dotted line right here. And now I'm going to erase what we did in step 1 so that we have some more space for step 2. And now step 2 is going to be to find 2 points, and then we're going to mirror those across the axis of symmetry. So I'll write find 2 points. So again, I like to find points that are near the axis of symmetry because then it'll make sure that those points don't go off my graph. So I'm going to plug in x equals 0 because it's a nice number and it is right to the left of my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to replace x with 0 in my original quadratic. So we're going to have negative 3 times 0 squared plus 6 times 0 plus 2. And we're going to simplify. So we have negative 3 times 0 squared, and 0 squared is just 0, plus 6 times 0 is 0 plus 2. And now negative 3 times 0 is just 0. So we have 0 plus 2, which gives us a y value of 2. So we have the point 0, 2. So I'll go ahead and plot that. And we want to just reflect that across the axis of symmetry. So we'll also have the point 2, 2. And now let's just plug in one more number. So I'm going to plug in x equals negative 1. So I'm going to replace all my x's in my original quadratic with negative 1. Plus 6 times negative 1 plus 2. So we have negative 3. Negative 1 squared is 1. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6 plus 2. So we have y equals negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 minus 6 plus 2. And finally, negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9. Plus 2 is negative 7. So this gives us the point negative 1, negative 7, which is all the way down here, almost off our graph. And we are going to mirror that across our axis of symmetry to get, the point 3, negative 7. And we are going to sketch our graph like this. And we just want to make sure that our graph should be upside down, and it should be because our a value is negative. So we at least know that our graph has the right orientation. So hopefully this video helped you guys understand how to graph quadratics in standard form. You really just have to remember that first you want to find the vertex using x equals negative b over 2a, and then you're just going to plug in some different x values to find some extra points.